Hold on a second here. Let me make sure everything is proper. Right here. Hold on, folks. Here, I thought everything was all set and ready. I'm getting a little bit of feedback here. Okay. In a transitional kind of we're gonna move the studio from the guest house lounge here. We're gonna move it over to the big house because of being one of the top things, because the air can on the fritz out here in the guest house, and some plans are up in the air. So we don't have a house. We're gonna studio. We're hopefully gonna be able to better show here for the past 2 years almost now. We're relying on a Wi-Fi signal to us from the big house. It's a work in progress. That's right. Almost 2 years into this streaming experiment, we're still a work in progress. Okay, so let's get started. Hi, everybody. I'm Pugs Moran. Every Monday through Thursday. No, Monday noon till whenever. Noon report. Well, about this particular day, we give you the headlines, the hot topics, the current events, the trends, whatever it is that people are buzzing about. We'll tell you about it. I'll give you a hot take, and then we'll move on to the next one. We don't spend too much time on any one issue. It's just sort of rapid fire. The show of all of the different things in the world today. What to do? More things. The culture war stuff. Sometimes, what are you doing, dog? Calling this comfort nest. Just lay down. It'll just be a couple hours. Yeah. Just lay down there. She'll start panting. Ugh. Oh my God. Ooh. I didn't talk about this. We had a situation here yesterday. Park had well, I'll put it to you this way. It's about noon, and I'm laying on the couch watching some TV, and I look out the window, and I see on the front yard of my house 3 Highland Park police officers in full uniform, and then I look cram my neck a little bit more. The Highland Park police cars in front of my house. This is news to me. I'm just laying there couch enjoying. I was watching. That's right. At noon on a Sunday, I was eating cereal and watching HBO's Barry. So I see, and I open the door, and I crane my head out, and I go, "Can I help you, officer?" And he said, the cop looked at me, and he goes, "Well, did you see which way he went?" And I said, "Which way who went?" I don't know what's the who in this. I was lost. Remember Barry eating cereal. It's noon on a Sunday. And he says, homeless guy. And he's roaming around the neighborhood. Let me tell you something. About the HP, Highland Park. Ooh, there's like this, the perimeter that lasts unclosed. Let's call it. The perimeter is Lemon Avenue, Mockingbird, Inwood, and Oak Lawn, right? Okay, so that's like the perimeter that sort of rounds this neighborhood. Now, on all of those streets, they are just filled with homeless people. But, the people inside the neighborhood, they don't like it when they stray. So what are these trade to imagine maybe Lemon? He made it deep into the neighborhood, which is something that typically doesn't happen. I mean, these are like honestly, look, I hope you are getting from my telling of this story that I'm not 100% comfortable with all the details here, and I don't really like the authoritarianism that seemed to be on display on my front yard. So a homeless guy had wandered into the neighborhood, and he was walking down the street. And as near as I can tell, that was his crime. That he was walking down a street in front of $5 to $15 million mansions, and people didn't like that. So the police came looking for him, and I guess they turned our lights on, and he ran. And where did he run? Well, he ran right up my driveway, right up into my driveway, and right back behind the old Comfort Nest guest lounge is where he was hiding. So I don't know. So I came out on the porch. I'm like, what's going on, officer? He's like, oh, which way did he go? I go, which way did who go? And then I hear another cop go, he's back here. And I go, hey, hold on, officer. Because they started to like come back into the backyard, right? And those of you who know this show know that doesn't matter if you're a deputized law enforcement officer. There is a dog in this yard that does not like people coming into her yard. And so now I'm running up my driveway. Well, Emil's driveway. I'm running up the driveway. And I'm saying to the cop, hold up, don't go back there, don't go back there. And the cop turns and I go, dog, vicious dog. And then by this point, the dog was like jumping at the fence because the cop was like about to open it. And I go, do not. And he goes, is that dog always back there? I go, dog's always back there. I go, the homeless man is not in the backyard. That I promise you. We would have been alerted by the dog the minute that guy. So then they ended up going around the back where they were doing some construction earlier this spring. Maybe you remember me telling you tales about it. They were tearing apart the back greenway and putting in this beautiful sewer system. They found him. He was down there hiding in the sewers. They dragged him out, and then they gave him all of these tests, right? Like one of the things that they gave him, I sat there in my house watching them do this in my driveway. Sat there in my house. One of the things that they gave him was they gave him a sobriety test. They gave him like the roadside sobriety test. This dude, who obviously didn't own a vehicle and wasn't driving, this dude was being told to walk the line and touch his nose, and he was doing all that stuff. And I'm like, why on earth? What is the probable cost for that? And then it dawned on me, well, it's not illegal to just walk through a neighborhood, and that's what he was doing. So they needed a charge on him. So public intox, I guess, would be the charge if they can prove it. I don't know. Mother's Day was, rainy, and I'm sitting there, I'm watching this dude who, look, I'm not assuming anything about this man's life. All I know is that in the moment, that was a human being sitting there, and he was not having a good day. And I felt for him. And I just, I don't know. But it is funny. It is funny the way the police were. I'm telling you, go ahead. I challenge all criminals. Try and pull anything off in this neighborhood. Try and pull anything off. And I don't mean to say homeless people are criminals. What I mean to say is anybody up to something that doesn't belong, I dare you to come try it in this neighborhood. This neighborhood has more cops, and they are everywhere all the time. Not only that, every single one of these like $8 to $20 million mansions. You don't think Jerry Jones has like security cameras everywhere? Every house in this neighborhood, every single inch of this neighborhood is on videotape. I mean, everything is being videotaped. So that's why, like, the minute the homeless guy broke through, he got deep, though. He did. He got, like, 2 blocks into the neighborhood, which is very odd, before the entirety of the Highland Park. So the ones, I guess, who don't have moms, I don't know, all the cops who were forced to work on Mother's Day, they descended on our driveway yesterday. So that was very exciting. Also a bit, little real. It got very real, but also exciting. Yeah, what am I going to do? All right, so let's get started with the show. I tip the show. By the way, folks, we do these shows. The show runs on your gratuities. Please help out the show if you can in any way, shape, or form. You can tip via Venmo. You can tip via Cash App. I really do worry about this show being able to continue just because I don't know how long I can do this. I was so bad off last month at the end of last month, and now we're in this month, and I'm still in the hole from last. So you know what I'm saying? If you like what you hear every day, drop a little something in the Venmo, drop a little something in the Cash App. It would certainly go a long way to helping me sleep at night because I love doing this, and I love that you guys are here hanging out with me. So without further ado, also. Look at me totally forgetting about the people who stepped up and helped last month. That's right. We got to thank the good folks at Sacred Oils. You can see them scrolling down below right there. Sacred Oils, CBDs, and all that good stuff. They got the edibles. I use this to sleep. This is the good stuff that I use to sleep. I use this. I take this an hour before I go to bed. This is like a body chill oil. You can find that at Sacred Oils CBD. 3,000 milligrams. I use that every night. It's getting low. Gonna need more. Good thing I have another bottle. Cause I do. Cause I think ahead. Pugs 20. If you want to check them out there, at Sacred Oils. If you're hearing about CBDs and all this kind of stuff, and you're hearing people like me tell you, Delta 8. Delta 8 is fully legal. Delta 8 isn't some synthetic thing. Delta 8 is real THC, and it's fully legal. And there are Delta 8 products available everywhere. The gummies, the chocolates, all of that kind of stuff, they have it there at Sacred Oils. Sacred Oils is located at 13740 Midway Road. That's 13740 Midway Road, Suite 522. Pugs 20. Pugs 20. That's right. Tell them Pugs 20. See, the numbers also, you get 20% off. That's what you get. Delta 9 is also a thing. Delta 9 is a bit more murky legally. So the Delta 8 is what you're going to get. Delta 8 is what you get here. Delta, well, if you like, I was going to say, I thought I had some semblance of an edible around here, but I don't. The vapes, flour, you can get Delta 8 flour. And I'm telling you, it's worth trying. And if you think I'm full of shit, you know what? If you think I'm full of shit, call Sacred Oils. Check them out. Say Pugs 20, you'll get 20% off. It's worth trying it, right? And then you'll see, you'll know. The way I was just like you, I was like, pfft. And then you remember James? We were talking about the Delta 8 with James on the nighttime show, and he kept going, yeah, it's legal, but it's just a lesser weed. James has been smoking nothing but Delta 8 since, because it's not a lesser weed. It's not. It's the same thing, and it's very good, and it's taken from all these strains. It's just a technicality in the law. Well, not even a technicality. I believe that the law was written purposefully for this reason. So check it out. Sacred Oils. Check them out on Facebook. You can check them out all over. Thank you to them. They helped out last month. But we still need you folks to help out. So tip if you can. All right, let's get into it. It is the High Noon Show for the 15th day of May. Year of our Lord 2023. May 15th is the 135th day of the year. There are 230 more of these remaining until the end of the year. Little word of advice about the edibles, though. I've told the story. Maybe you're only hearing it now for the first time. So I went to the Sacred Oils, all right, 13740 Midway Road in Dallas. I went to the Sacred Oils, and I got a chocolate bar because I want to try it. I'm like, okay, Delta 8 gummy, Delta 8, edible chocolate bar. Looked like a good chocolate bar, nice size. And like you just take 2 squares. That's all, just 2 squares at a time. Put it in the fridge. You use that. The chocolate bar is supposed to last you like a long time. You're not supposed to just sit there and eat it like a fat kid in a movie, right? You're just supposed to eat 2 squares. But here's the problem. 2 squares. Edibles, and I know this about myself, and I don't know why I did this. Edibles take too long. Not too long, but they take about an hour to 2 hours to kick in with me. So if I eat an edible, it's going to be 2 hours later that I'm going to start to feel it, which is fine. If you know that going in, you can plan ahead. But for some reason, I just got crazy, and I ate the entire chocolate bar. I ate like 16 squares. You were only supposed to eat 2. I was so high. When it hit me, I'm like bad high. Like, don't do this. This is a cautionary tale. As we all learn now how to ingest edibles and do these other things. This is a cautionary tale. Don't do it. I was miserable. I thought I was going to go to the emergency room. My heart was pounding. I was sweating. I was really just super high, and it all hit at once. But man, that lasted for like 2 days. So just a couple of squares. Just eat 2 squares. Eat 2 squares right after dinner. And then, by the time the 8, 9 o'clock movie is kicking in, you're going to be glorious. Sacred Oils, 13740 Midway Road. Let's go into, here's how we do this show. If you're new, and none of you are new. I know. That's one of the great problems of the show. None of you are new. We do the show in a couple of different segments. The first segment we call Erstwhile on This Day. We go back in history. We talk about the things that have shaped May the 15th throughout time. Then we do birthdays, and then we do people who died. And we decide on the people who died, do we care or not? That's really how I look at that. All right, so let's get started. Here is what happened previously on this day, or as we like to say around these parts, erstwhile on this day. On this day in 1536, Anne Boleyn Queen of England, stands trial in London on charges of treason, adultery, and incest. She is condemned to death by a specially selected jury. Yeah, all of Henry VIII's friends. This was Anne Boleyn. Do you guys, I mean, I know we know, like, oh, Henry VIII, he was a madman, but did you ever really learn that story? Did you ever really look into that story? That fucking guy. What is up that guy? Jesus, he's like the Harvey Weinstein times 1,000 of his time. So Anne Boleyn was his second wife. And I don't know who the first one was. Catherine of Aragon or something like that. I don't know. But he didn't kill. Like, I always thought Henry VIII killed all his wives. He chopped all their heads off. No, he only chopped 2 of their heads off. He only chopped 2. There was another one. It was like Jane Seymour. I think she lived. I think Jane Seymour was allowed to live. Jane Seymour was the one after Anne Boleyn. Anne Boleyn, by the way, she was the mom of Elizabeth I. That was part of the problem. All these women kept giving him chicks. He didn't want chicks. He wanted dudes. He needed heirs to the throne, and they kept giving him chicks. So, but anyway, it's much more complicated than him just cutting women's heads off. I mean, this is the entire English Reformation. You know, this is the breakaway. This is the start of the Anglican Church in England. Henry VIII, the Pope wouldn't give him a divorce. The Pope's like, what are you doing? You married her in a Catholic church. You got to stay married. And the king was like, but I'm the king of England. I don't want to be married to her. And the Pope was like, but you got to be. I'm the Pope. And he's like, but I'm the king. And he said, but I'm the Pope. And the king said, well, I'm going to start my own church over here. Screw you guys. And boom, now we have that. On this day in 1911, in Standard Oil, the Standard Oil Company of New Jersey versus the United States, who are we rooting for here? The United States Supreme Court declares Standard Oil to be an unreasonable monopoly under the Sherman Antitrust Act and orders the company to be broken up. Who is the Standard Oil guy? Is that Nelson Rockford? Is that Jim Rockford? Who was the guy? Was it? Anyway, whoever that guy was, I remember that guy. You ever watched that A&E series, The Men Who Built America, or whatever that is? You know, they profile like these great movers and shakers of the previous century. I remember they did the Standard Oil guy, and I remember being very impressed by him. Nothing else stuck. Moving on this day in 1929, a fire at the Cleveland Clinic in Cleveland, Ohio, kills 123 people. Fire at the Cleveland Clinic. So it killed 123 people. The Cleveland Clinic's a hospital. The Cleveland Clinic's like a very, very famous, very highly regarded hospital. One of the best hospitals in the entire world. Yeah, I know. I don't know. Cleveland Clinic, Mayo Clinic, Johns Hopkins. Yeah, seriously, these are like the best places. 123 people were killed when this hospital caught on fire. You got to figure that, like, a lot of them would have been able to get out if they weren't in the hospital already, right? Like, a lot of them were just sitting ducks, so that's bad. That's like, man, God, can you imagine? You're, like, in a hospital, totally unrelated to, like, a fire. You know, like, your lungs don't work, and it's what year? It's 1929. Ugh, hospital sucked. So your life is already terrible. And then a fire breaks out, and everybody leaves you. Being involved in the back of an ambulance. You ever think about that? I see an ambulance whizzing through traffic. I'm like, Jesus, they almost hit that car. There's a guy in the back. The guy in the back, he's now going to have injuries sustained for the reason he's in the ambulance, and then injuries sustained because of the ambulance accident. I don't know. On this day in 1940, Richard and Maurice MacDonald, or do you call them Dick and Mo MacDonald? They opened the very first McDonald's restaurant. Cha-ching! Cha-ching! No, not for them. Not cha-ching for them. Yeah. These two bozos, these two guys that couldn't see it. They couldn't see it. They had this thing. They had a hamburger, but it's just a hamburger. It was the way the hamburger was. It was the nature. It was the dick and of preparing these hamburgers. The young, ambitious Ray Kroc walked into the McDonald's restaurant. Here's how it happened. The McDonald's restaurant, this lone McDonald's restaurant out there in California, Ray Kroc worked for Prince Castle, which was a Midwestern-based ice cream and hamburger joint. Ray Kroc worked for Prince Castle, and he sold ice cream mixers, for shakes and stuff like that, for hamburger stands. That was his business. He sold these shakes. And he kept getting these orders from this one hamburger place in McDonald's. Like, they're ordering like 10 mixers. He's like, 10 mixers? What? So he gets in the car, because he's a go-getter himself, that Ray Kroc, and he drives out to California, where he meets up with Dick and Mo McDonald. And Dick and Mo, they're set in their ways, man. They're like, yeah, we do this. We're thinking about, I don't know, opening a second restaurant. So much work. We're happy with, like Dick and Mo, they had their bag of cash. They had a successful restaurant. They were happy. They didn't need anything more. Not old Ray Kroc. Ray Kroc traveled the country selling these mixers, these milkshake machines. He knew what he was seeing. He saw something that he could replicate everywhere. That's how you got McDonald's. And today, McDonald's is the greatest restaurant America has ever produced. Fight me on it. Let's go. Knife fight. Top of the hill. Name me a restaurant. Oh, what? You don't consider it a restaurant? You don't pay them to give you food? Okay, it's a restaurant. It is the most successful restaurant chain in the history of the world. And the greatest thing that America has given to the rest of you ungrateful peasants across the ocean since, I don't know. Since the moon landing, I guess. I don't know. No, because that would have come after. Speaking of, on this day in 1963, Project Mercury. We salute our Project Mercury heroes around these parts. The launch of the final Mercury mission, Mercury Atlas 9, with astronaut Gordon Cooper. Gordo getting his go-round up there. Gordo Cooper becomes the first American to spend more than a day in space, and the last American, this is a good one, Gordon Cooper, on this day, the American ever to go to space alone. That's right, he did it alone. He was up there by himself. Nobody does that anymore. It's all the buddy system now. 2008, on this day, California becomes the second U.S. state after Massachusetts to legalize same-sex marriage after the state's own Supreme Court rules a previous ban unconstitutional. Wasn't it Obama who did it federally? How much longer was that? Like, how would the California did it in 2008? Then when did Obama get around to doing it? Like 2010 or something federally? I don't know. So I was thinking about, like, the big argument before gay marriage was, it'll cause the breakdown of society. And, I've always been for gay marriage. I don't give a shit. Love is great. You love that dude? Great, man. You guys go be happy. Go love each other. Whatever. You two chicks love each other. That's fine. I don't care. Whatever. What doesn't affect me. Yeah, I want to be in love too. I want to find, you know what? I hope someday to find what it is that you crazy same-sex folks have found. Whatever. That's always been my take on it. Seems terrible to sort of legislate against people who are, in love with each other and want to form a family unit. And I don't know. I didn't have a problem. I didn't get the problem. But the argument was the society's going to break down. And, I was thinking about that. I was thinking about the argument when I was reading this morning. I was like, society's going to break down. We've had it for 10 years. We're still here. Or however long we've had it. We've had it for like 13 years. We're still. But if I'm being honest, I mean, since the gay marriage got legalized, we had the whole Trump thing. That wasn't a whole great stretch of time for a whole lot of people. We had a plague. We had a global plague. The Bible probably could have told us that was coming after we did what Obama did. What else have we had? School shootings. We got shootings. We got mass mayhem. We got a rise of white power. I'm just saying that, yeah, we're still here. Recession is out of whack. Oh, my God. Seriously, times are about as bad right now in 2023 as I think they've easily been in the last 50 years of my life, right? I mean, it's pretty bad. So, I'm like, here I wanted to do this whole thing. Look, we legalized the gay marriage. Ain't nothing happened. But actually, a whole lot of stuff's happened. Probably unrelated, I'm sure. I'm just, not judging, just laying the facts out there. For people who believe in such things as God's wrath, maybe the might hear their argument against gay marriage. I don't know. I know, silly. I'm just saying. On this day, so that was on this day in 2008. All right, let's move on now. That has concluded this portion of the show, which we like to call Erstwhile on this day. So let's now move on to birthdays. That's right. Buana. Today is your birthday. Born on this day in 1902, Richard J. Daley, American lawyer and politician, the 48th mayor of Chicago. The closest thing to a Burgermeister burger I think I've ever seen. Remember Burgermeister burger in those Christmas, is year without a Santa Claus. I don't know which one Burgermeister was involved in, but he was one of the guys. And that's kind of like how Richard Daley was for me growing up. He was the mayor of Chicago. He was always the mayor of Chicago. He seemed like he had been the mayor of Chicago forever and ever, and he was powerful, man. He was powerful. He's probably the most powerful Democratic politician in the entire country for a good 20 years. He was a kingmaker. Man, that dude was big. And then he just dropped dead one day. Just dropped dead. Heart attack. He was I've never seen anything like lying to when I tell you this. My grandmother, I don't know about my grandfather, my grandmother essentially deified this guy. My grandmother thought that, now she worked for him, so, she had like political ties and all that, political job and all that kind of stuff. But man, it was like growing up under that, this guy was like Santa Claus. He was like Mayor Daley. He was up there with God, Jesus, Santa, whatever. Just so weird. So weird that generation of people deified a politician, a con man. He wasn't, he was not a great human. He did some really sketchy things through today's lens, but that's what it is. Anyway, born on this day, the great mayor of Chicago, Richard J. Daley. Born on this day in 1905. How about we come here? To Dallas and we celebrate a Dallas individual. Born on this day in 1905, Abraham Zapruder. That's right. Just a perv with a camera. 1960. Just that's all he was doing. See, here's the thing. This gets lost in the whole equation. Abraham Zapruder was the guy who was filming on the grassy knoll when Kennedy got killed. Okay, so that's it. That's the Zapruder tape. That's why we see the Kennedy tape. This guy. Come on. Let's go a little bit deeper on old Abe Zapruder. Nobody had cameras back then. That wasn't a thing. You know who had cameras? Perverts. Perverts had cameras. You know who took cameras out to public gatherings back then? Perverts. That's what I've believed this for a long time. Abraham Zapruder was just a pervert. Happy birthday, though, Abe. You caught history with your perverted gaze. And, now we're celebrating your birthday. Born on this day in 1937, Madeleine Albright. Czech-American politician and diplomat, the 64th United States Secretary of State. Was she the first female Secretary of State? Reno was Attorney General. Albright, yeah, she's first Secretary of State. There you go. Good for her. Born on this day in 1940. Let's bring it back home. Although he's in Hawaii now. Oh, man, this dude. You want to talk about a dude who is living the life. This guy. You got to love Don Nelson, right? Coach Don Nelson, American basketball player and coach. Don Nelson, born on this day in 1940. Living in Hawaii now. Spent all those years here in Dallas running the Mavericks. Was always a cool guy. Was always cool, but he was an NBA coach, right? He was Don Nelson. He wore the good suits. He looked good on the sideline. He's a silver-haired devil, right? He had the history in the league. He's an admired guy. He gets out of the game, and he turns into the biggest hippie you ever saw. Don Nelson with the long hair and the tie-dye. He's like basically Bill Walton now, and it's awesome. It is awesome. Don Nelson, born on this day in 1970, living in tie-dye, growing a beard. Oh, my God. Oh, is he dead? Wait a minute. No, wait, no. It says not to say he's dead here. Don Nelson. Hold on. Do I got the... No, it's Don. No, yeah, it's Don Nelson right here. He ain't dead. Donald Arvid Nelson, born May 15th, 1940. He's an American former basketball player and head coach. Nelson is the second all-time in regular season wins of any NBA coach in history. New York Knicks, Milwaukee Bucks, Golden State Warriors, Dallas Mavericks. What are you talking about? Yeah, he's alive. I'm like, you had me all worried. He ain't dead. It's just that he ain't playing the game no more, my friend. He's over there in Hawaii. He's chilling. He's chilling. He's relaxing. He's like stoned. He like wake and bakes. He's like, that's how little faith I have in my stream of consciousness rants. That a Byron can say he's dead, and then it'll stop me dead in my tracks. I don't know, maybe he is. I don't know. I didn't think he was, but all right, moving on. Born on this day in 1952, Chaz Palminteri. Actor Chaz Palminteri always plays a mob guy. He's like, I don't know. He's always like, he's good, but he's always like he's not a Scorsese mob guy. I mean, maybe he is. Maybe he's done some Scorsese stuff. But it's like if somebody is trying to do a Scorsese-like movie, they cast Chaz Palminteri. He does all that stuff. When they're trying to fool us Scorsese fans into thinking we're going to get a Scorsese-style gangsta epic, you know, that's born on this day, excuse me, in 1953. One of the greats. One of my all-time favorites. Oh, I love this guy. This guy, baseball nerd, baseball Johnny coming at you. George Brett. George Brett, celebrating a birthday today, born on this day in 1953. George Brett, I'll never forget the pine tar incident where he comes running out of the dugout. George Brett was a baller, man. George Brett could play the game. George Brett, one of the greats, one of the all-time greats. Happy birthday to you, George Brett. Led the greatest Kansas City Royal of all time, right? Because Bo Jackson got hurt. Greatest Kansas City Royal of all time. Let's not kid ourselves. It would have been Bo Jackson. But, yeah, George Brett. Born on this day in 1956, here's another guy, everybody loves him, Dan Patrick. Who doesn't like old Dan Patrick? Dan Patrick, this is what's so interesting about Dan Patrick. So, Dan Patrick and Keith Olbermann, right? The Big Show. Oh, man, did they do things for ESPN back in the day? They sure did. ESPN was really just, it was something we just took for granted. We tuned in. It was nothing exciting. But boy, oh boy, when the Big Show, when SportsCenter was hosted by Dan Patrick and Keith Olbermann, that was it. It became can't miss. Now, I was in college, so, you know, it hit my demo directly. But holy crap. And now here we are all these years later. Everybody loved Patrick and Olbermann. Everybody loved Patrick and Olbermann. Here we are all these years later, and now everybody hates Keith Olbermann, and everybody still likes Dan Patrick. I don't know. I still like Dan Patrick, and I hate Keith Olbermann, so maybe it's just me. But Dan Patrick's very nice. He seems like a very nice man. I've met him a couple times. He is a very nice man, but I don't know him. But he's very, very cordial. He's also one of these guys that, so like for me, like Dan Patrick is a superstar. Like for me, like of all the television that I've watched, he probably represents a pretty sizable chunk. As much I would imagine as any other individual could occupy a chunk of space in my television watching time. Dan Patrick was there. God, I mean, I used to watch SportsCenter every single night for like 15 years. So I remember when I met him, I think I was giving off that kind of fanboy vibe, and he was really nice. He was so nice about it because, you know, I was trying to be professional. Because the reason I'd met him the first time was because he was doing his show from Dallas, and he was doing it in a studio that was adjacent to our studio. So I went over and said hello and welcomed him and all that. And he was so nice, and this is when he was ill. Here's the thing. Dan Patrick, I remember being this like handsome guy on TV. He was ill with something, and he didn't look great, and that was a little shocking. But happy birthday to you, Dan Patrick. I think you're doing well now. I think you're back. You're back. Dan Patrick's back. Let's just say it. Let's establish it. Born on this day in 1969, ladies and gentlemen, your Dallas Cowboy, the old NFL all-time leading rusher, Emmitt Smith, celebrating a birthday today. Emmitt Smith. Emmitt Smith's a dick. Yep. I've had a couple of run-ins with Emmitt Smith. Emmitt Smith's a dick. Emmitt Smith is not a nice guy. Emmitt Smith is a dick. All right, there you go. That's all I have for you. Although I once saw Emmitt Smith and his son. You know, he lived like right off Beltline there, just east of the tollway. I mean, literally, like his driveway backed up on the Beltline. I saw him and his kid walking down Beltline together. That was kind of sweet. I'm like, hey, it's Emmitt Smith and his kid. Look at that, walking down Beltline. I don't know where they were going, but I thought that was nice. And then I had to remind myself, oh, no, wait, I've run into him a couple of times, and he's kind of a dick. He's like not a nice guy. Yeah, there you go. So there you go. I hope you have a shitty birthday, Emmitt Smith. Born on this day in 1975. Yeah, he's another troubling NFL player, but well, why not? We'll call him out. He's one of the greats. Ladies and gentlemen, Ray Lewis. Ray Lewis, born on this day in 1975. A lot of troubling athletes in the news today. We'll get to them. But Ray Lewis probably murdered a guy, right? In Atlanta, he probably did, but then somebody else took, I don't know. And then he spent the next 10 years sort of like on this like personal reclamation project to like change his image. And now Ray Lewis seems like really good. But I remember when he killed a guy or probably killed a guy or wasn't convicted of killing a guy. Whatever it was. There was a knife involved and it was a fight at the Super Bowl, I believe, in Atlanta. All right. Happy birthday to Ray Lewis, born on this day, 1975. Born on this day in 1981. I am a fan. I don't think she's a particularly good actress, but because of the role she played and because of the series she was on, I'm always going to have a soft spot for the lovely, we watched her grow up before our eyes and blossom into this beautiful young woman. Of course, I'm talking about mezzo-soprano Jamie Lynn Sigler, celebrating her birthday today, born on this day in 1981. Jamie Lynn Sigler. Jamie Lynn Sigler's got some health problems. She's got like a, well, let me see. I don't want to just say it, right? We want to get this right. But yeah, she's battling something that's fairly serious, and but I guess she's doing good. What she got? Personal life? Or maybe that's not it. Hold on, where is it? Oh, here it is. In January of 2016, Sigler revealed that she was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. That's what it is. When she was 20, though. In 2000, while filming Campfire Stories in Hamburg, Germany, Sigler was paralyzed from the waist down for several days. The symptom turned out to be related to her multiple sclerosis, but it was misdiagnosed as Lyme disease at the time. All right, it doesn't really go on to say much, but yeah, I mean, I guess she was diagnosed 20 years ago with multiple sclerosis, which is a, well, terrible thing. All right, let's talk about some of the people who have passed away on this day, okay? So these are the people who died. These are the people who died. Do we care? Let's find out. Jerry Falwell died on this day in 2007. What did he do? What did he do? I mean, they all did something. They were either, playing with themselves in front of a prostitute in a hotel or having sex with a church secretary. They were all doing something. What did Falwell do? I don't even know. But for that reason, we don't care. Yeah. Oh, hey, dog. That's the camera. The dog just rocked the camera back and forth. Dead on this day in 2009. Here's an interesting one. Wayman Tisdale. Wayman Tisdale, ladies and gentlemen. Wayman Tisdale. You know who Wayman Tisdale is? Oklahoma, great basketball player, NBA player, great basketball player. He's probably one of the greatest college basketball players of his era. Wayman Tisdale came out of Tulsa, born in Dallas, came out of Tulsa, went to Oklahoma, and then, I don't know, his career, injuries or whatever, but, he never panned out to be the superstar in the NBA, but he was a big name. He was a big name in that generation. It was, when's Wayman Tisdale going to put it all together? Well, he did put it all together, but here's the crazy interesting thing about the late, great Wayman Tisdale, who died. Hold on. What are you doing? You're not going to fit. The dog is trying to squeeze. You're not going to fit, dummy. Move. Oh, and this is all liquids. Hold on. She's going to knock a table over because she decided she was going to try and sneak under me. Oh, that is so desperate. She's trying to lay on top of the air conditioning grate, and the air conditioning isn't working. Oh, you dummy. All right, here, now I gotta move. You gotta get out. Out, now, move. Go, get out. No, move. You got. Oh. Folks, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This dog is so needy. She like needs to be. You know what? You don't have to be. I'm sorry. All right. Jerry, Wayman Tisdale. All right, so Wayman Tisdale, we're all like, when's he going to put it together? When's he going to stay healthy? When's he going to put it together? He never put it together, but guess what Wayman Tisdale did do? Wayman Tisdale not only was one of the great basketball players of his generation, and he was, make no mistake, go back, look at the histories. He put it all together as a bass player, as a smooth jazz bass player. Wayman Tisdale is one of the most highly regarded musicians in that field of like smooth jazz and all of that stuff. Dude was good. Dude wasn't just an athlete who could, he's pretty good at the bass. No, he was like world-class bassists were like, he's better than I am. He went on to be this, he had hit albums, he was signed by Motown, he was a legit musical artist. Now, I don't claim to know anything about smooth jazz or anything like that, but that was his thing. So I guess the question is, Wayman Tisdale, who died very young of cancer. Wayman Tisdale died of cancer on this day in 2009. Do we care? Yes, we care. Yeah, we care. That's cool. That's an interesting dude. Great at basketball, also super talented at music. So we care. So there you go. We care that Wayman Tisdale died on this day. Dead on this day in 2020. I'm going to save you all the drama. Fred Willard. Yes, we care. Fred Willard. Fred Willard died on this day in 2020. American actor, comedian, writer. Oh, man. Look, let me tell you something about Fred Willard. I don't care what kind of piece of shit TV show. I don't care what kind of garbage, low-budget film it is that I'm watching, and this is where he jumped in a lot of times. If you can give me, one Fred Willard scene, that's money. I'm in. Fred Willard was a guy who could just walk on stage or walk on screen, more appropriately, and I just start laughing. You just start laughing because he's just nothing but kindness and stupidity and just, his character. Well, actually, it's any of the Christopher Guest stuff. I think that's where he really shined. Even in the earliest Christopher Guest movie, Spinal Tap, where he played the major at the Air Force Base, where Spinal Tap had to come and play, and they were getting their wireless guitar amplifiers and all that stuff were picking up the air traffic control from the Air Force Base. Hey, Fred Willard, Best in Show, where he played the Westminster Kennel Club spokesperson, announcer guy. Oh my God, Fred Willard. So yes, we absolutely care that Fred Willard died on this day in 2020. We could do a Fred Willard draft. I actually looked at Fred Willard and I'm like, Fred Willard deserves a draft. We should do a Fred Willard draft. But you know what the problem is? There's not enough things that I think enough people saw. There's he's in a whole bunch of really small things, but he's so great in them, all the Chris Guest movies, you could just rank the Chris Guest movies. You can Fernwood Tonight, which was his syndicated TV show with Martin Mull, which he did in the late 70s, which was great. Trying to think of what else. Anyway, everything that he did, all the sketch comedy stuff that he did, Fred Willard, the great Fred Willard. Yes, we care. You're darn tootin' that we do. All right, that's gonna do it. So let's move into all the things that are trending. Do we feel good? Do we feel good about knowing the history of the day, the erstwhile on this day, the birthdays on this day? Do we care if you died on this day? We've covered all that, so let's get into the actual news of the day. What do you say? Let's do it here. All right, you with me? You're with me. Sorry, I'm filling time because I'm having problems with the computer. As is often the case. Sorry. Ooh, it's hot. It's hot in here today. All right, top story that is trending. These are all the things that are trending, the headlines, the hot topics, all that stuff. Border crossings. What is this? Was it Title 41? Was it Level 42? Was it Haircut 100? What was this thing? There was something There was something that was going to happen at the border, and it was going to be World War Z. It was going to be the zombies climbing the wall, and it was going to be awful, and we all got ginned up, and none of that happened. I mean, just come on, stop it. Now, look, there are things going on at the border right now, but what was predicted did not happen because that's the business of ginning us up. It's getting us all excited, all angry, all upset about something that doesn't really, one, affect us, and two, probably isn't going to happen. Remember the caravan? This caravan's going to crash right through the wall. The caravan was coming, and it was going to, oh, jeez. Look, there is a problem, but there's a real problem, and it's a serious problem, and smart people need to get involved in it, but smart people aren't involved in it. Only dumb people looking for airtime on television news seem to be in charge of all of this shit. So, whatever. Do you guys know what's going on down there? I have no fucking clue what's going on down there. All I know... Here, you know what? I'm going to read you the story. I won't read you the whole story, but I'll read you enough so that we can at least say, well, okay. Now, this comes from... what does this come from? Oh, my God, this is the Washington... No, this one's Bloomberg. Okay, I don't know how you feel about Bloomberg. Border crossings have fallen 50%, easing fear of U.S. migration surge. Where was that fear from in the beginning? What do you mean easing fear? Where did the fear come from? Who created the fear? Who started pushing the fear? This is again like the caravan. This is again like... Well, I was just going to go back to... Never mind. I was going to make that gay marriage joke again. But, that didn't work the first time. The number of migrants seeking to cross the southern U.S. border has been markedly down during the past 2 days, bucking expectations. Expectations from whom? Who created these expectations? Bucking expectations of a surge after pandemic-era border rules expired. The U.S. Border Patrol has experienced a 50% drop in the number of encounters versus what we were expecting earlier in the week, before the restrictions known as Title 42 were lifted. Okay, so whatever. Okay, so that's that. There you go. Still a problem. Yeah, is there somebody here? Hold on a second. Sounded like there was somebody. You gotta let me know if somebody's coming in the yard, because we got a dog that don't like that. All right, also trending. Here's a story still trending today, although it happened in the afternoon on Friday, so I didn't think that we'd be covering it. But I'm glad we are, because I know a little something about this story. Lori Vallow Daybell. Lori Vallow Daybell. Have you been following this story? This is crazy doomsday mom. I watched a documentary about this woman about a year ago. And how did it come? Somebody that James knows is friends with this woman. And I think that person mentioned their friendship, and I'm like, no, I don't know that story. So I looked into this story. Lori Vallow Daybell, Texas, right? She's from here. She's from Texas. She's like a Texas mom. Hot, but, crazy, batshit crazy. Like hot to the point where she probably at 18 thought she was going to land herself a rich man, and she had plenty of time for that, but that never really worked out. She just kind of married a regular man, but she still thinks that she's like Highland Park hot, like trophy wife hot. So she was a handful, and she was like kind of a problem. Like she wanted. And then she decided that I guess her local church or something was a good place for her to climb the ladder to sort of become, we all create our individual universes, whether it's the office that we walk into every morning, right? In that universe, then you walk through the door of your office or wherever it is that you work, that's your universe. Front door of your house, you walk through the front door of your house. That is your universe. There's a pecking order. You know your place in that universe. So we all have that. And she looked at her church and she thought, you know what? That's a universe that maybe I could climb to the top of. So you just climb to the top of whatever universe you're in. But she got way crazy into the God stuff. And then she started believing in this doomsday stuff. And she met this dude, this crazy doomsday author. He wrote about religious doomsday stuff. This is this Vallow guy. Or no, Daybell. This is the Daybell guy. And she starts going to these conferences, these weird like airport conferences outside Little Rock and shit, where it's like a bunch of people going, and then the Jesus will come back and all the gays will be smited. It's like these crazy things that we see when we're driving cross country. Huh. I bet you. You whiz past, welcome, So she's going to these things. And she started going. Got a crush on this author dude who was like this mopey, dorky, sci-fi, doomsday author nerd. And then suddenly there's like hot crazy chick though, don't forget. She's fucking nuts, man. Because, you know, her whole life she's had these expectations. Can you tell? I gleaned a lot from the documentary I watched. These are a lot of my feelings about this crazy lady. Anyway, she leaves her husband. She ends up with, you know, this doomsday guy. They get married. And then a bunch of her kids go missing. Like she killed like two kids. I'm not even sure at this point because the story kept getting crazier. But anyway, she was on trial for it. Here you go. I'm now going to read it. The crimes are unimaginable. Lori Vallow Daybell stood trial for the murder of her own children. 16-year-old Ty Lee Ryan and 7-year-old JJ. That's right. They were both found. They were found on like this Daybell guy's property, like buried, like just thrown in the bed. Ugh. She was also accused of killing Tammy Daybell. That's the ex-wife of the dude she married, the doomsday cultist. Prosecutor Lindsay Blake, money, power, sex, that's what this case is about. It didn't matter what obstacles she had to remove to get what she wanted. And if it was a person, it didn't matter who she had to go through. All right, so that's the prosecutor describing this Lori Vallow chick. This isn't even a story. What is it? This is like a court transcript. I don't want a court transcript. Anyway, she's guilty. She's going to jail. Whatever. She's got like a fully grown son who's out there giving interviews, and he's like, my mom sucks. My mom killed my sister and my little brother. He's pissed, rightfully so. What an awful, ugly story. But there's a lot going on with this Lori Vallow. This Lori Vallow is a very interesting person. You look at her life and you look at, I'm telling you. I'm not saying good. I'm not saying like interesting good. No, she's a monster. But she's like, man, she is dangerous because she's hot. She seems normal. She pretends to be really good and righteous and religious and all that stuff. And then she murdered her children. They got into this whole thing where her and her crazy doomsday husband, Daybell, they got into this whole thing where they decided that they could tell if a person was evil or good. Like they thought the whole world was half evil, half good, and they could tell this by their light. So like it's crazy. It's crazy. Anyway, that's why Lori Vallow is, she's going to jail. She's guilty. She's guilty, which wasn't going to be not guilty, right? I mean, everybody knows she's crazy. Jamie Foxx is trending today. We've been covering the Jamie Foxx story since it started up like a month ago. And every couple of days I come on and I'm like, man, there's another story here about Jamie Foxx. There is absolutely zero information about his condition. He's still in the hospital. It's been a month. They're closing up shop on the movie that he was doing, the game show that he co-hosted with his daughter. He's been replaced by Nick Cannon on that. Things are not looking good. These are not indicators that Jamie Foxx is going to be back up and around anytime soon. Then, on Friday, I believe it was, one of these clickbait news sites. There's a new one that you guys got to know about. This is, oh my God, please don't ever click on this. Do not ever click on, if you're on Twitter or Facebook or whatever, and you see something circulating from the Daily Loud. It looks like a news organization, and it says Daily Loud, and it'll have a big splashy headline. And then there's no story. It is a news organization who is now just giving you the headline because they know nobody clicks on it anyway. But these headlines are almost always bullshit too. These headlines are all, so they put out a headline echoed by another hip hop site that put out news on Friday that Jamie Foxx was near death and the family and friends were preparing for the worst. Now we all believed this because there had been a complete blackout on any and all information about Jamie Foxx. Very private guy, family wasn't saying anything. All we knew was that he was rushed to a hospital. He was rushed to a hospital. And that they stopped filming the movie he was working on and closed up shop on the game show. And then nothing. And then everybody's like, how's Jamie Foxx? And there's nothing. So that opens a window of opportunity for people who are just looking to get click, those people, to put some bullshit information out there and capitalize on it. And they did. Because apparently, thankfully, Jamie Foxx is in fact doing much better. His family is not praying for the positive outcome. And all of this came from Jamie Foxx's daughter, who has finally said something. And she says, Jamie Foxx's daughter says he's not in the hospital for weeks. after Jamie Foxx's medical scare. All right, so the daughter is now saying he's been out of the hospital for weeks. Jamie Foxx's daughter, Corinne, shared on Friday that her dad was playing pickleball yesterday, 4 weeks after they revealed news of his medical complication. Jamie Foxx's family is addressing rumors about the actor's health 4 weeks after revealing that he'd suffered a, quote, medical complication. Update from the family. Here's what they said. Sad to see how the media runs wild. My dad has been out of the hospital for weeks, recuperating. His daughter, Corinne, 29, wrote on her Instagram story Friday. In fact, she continued, he was playing pickleball yesterday. Thanks for everyone's prayers and support. We have an exciting work announcement coming up in the next week. All right, so this is all wonderful news. However, I would say to you, Corinne Fox, your father is a superstar, a global celebrity. You enjoy all that comes with being the daughter of a global celebrity. It's a good life. It's a different life, Corinne. No one is saying that you have the same sort of issues that the rest of us have. However, one of the things that comes with this glorious life you've enjoyed as the daughter of Jamie Foxx is that your privacy is not like the rest of our privacy. You know how you guys have a yacht and a plane? Okay, that's not like the rest of us. The rest of us don't have a yacht and a plane. You know what the rest of us have? Privacy when it comes to this stuff. So it's a trade. It's a trade, and we've all understood that this was a trade. You understand it's a trade. So back it off, lady, with your condemnation of the media who is attempting to cover a legitimate news story because, again, going back, your father is a global celebrity. That is a person that is of interest in every corner of the globe. That's your dad. The media is simply doing their job. Now, the unscrupulous media, the people that reported the things that you seem to be upset about, they're not real media. And I would ask you to try to make a distinction on that. Because the things that you're upset about, the people who put the stories out that you are upset about are not real media. They're not, Fox News didn't report that. MSNBC didn't report that. The New York Times didn't report that. None of the Dallas Morning News didn't. You know who reported it? Daily Loud. Daily Loud, which is clickbait. So we are all very happy for you, and we are pleased as punch to hear that Jamie Foxx is up and that there's an exciting work announcement. This is all wonderful because we were worried about your father, Jamie. And we're going to leave you alone now, okay? But maybe make a video, maybe a TikTok. Maybe so. I'm just saying because remember, again, you know how you got the yacht and the plane and we got the privacy? Right. Make a video. Make us feel better. Make people feel. You got the yacht and the plane and the big mansion and all that stuff, and you never have to worry about money ever. You got all that. But in return for that, you have to, Dad's got to make a video. He's just got to be like, I'm okay. Because, otherwise, the idiots are going to go freaking out, and it's just going to be a self-fulfilling prophecy. The less information you give, the more information they make up. See, that's how it works. But it is very good news. Congrats, Jamie. Can't wait to see you and Jeremy Renner do something together. That'd be Jeremy. Yeah, let's do the All Almost Dead film, right? Let's cast that. See, you could have Jeremy Renner and Jamie Foxx star in the Almost Dead cast. Tracy Morgan, we could put a Tracy Morgan in there. Tracy Morgan is like comic relief, right? So he's in there doing something. Who else? Suggestions in the chat room. Give me. You know what, Byron? Byron, hold your horses, okay? Just hold your horses. We got a whole bunch of trends to get through. You don't need to be. Yeah, Byron's a degenerate gambler, so of course he's very concerned about the Doyle Brunson story. Well, get to it. He's trending. AM radio is trending. I love that. Oh, people are getting so mad. All the old heads, and you got all the AM talk radio guys who are the worst people on the planet. If you do AM talk radio, you are garbage because you are one actively sucking off the man's titty so that you can keep getting paid, 1/8 of what you used to get paid 10 years ago. Why? To peddle their lies? To carry the man's water? No one on AM talk radio is able to do the show that they want to do. Unless they're a broken fuckstick. Then they're doing the show that they want to do, and that's what you're getting. But anyway, AM radio is going bye-bye. Bye-bye, AM radio. Oh, bye-bye. Get the fuck out of here. AM radio is going away. Cars are not going to have AM radio options anymore. Electric cars weren't going to have it. Electric cars don't have them at all. AM, that's so stupid. Electric car makers say that there is, I shit you not. This is the truth. This is what the electric car makers are saying. They're saying that there is a frequency in the AM amplitude modulation, right? There is a frequency that interferes with the batteries of electric vehicles that could cause a fire, so they just got rid of AM radio. So no AM radio. But guess who else is saying goodbye to AM radio? That's right, Chevy and Ford saying bye-bye AM radio, and not just for the electric cars, for all of them. America's love affair between the automobile and AM radio, a century-long. AM radio was dead by 1975. What are you talking about? A century long. AM radio only came back with hate speech. AM radio only came back when they gave the shows to a bunch of old white guys who were angry about tea times at the country club. That's when AM radio came back. But don't forget, it was dead between 75 and 95. America's love affair between the automobile and AM radio, a century-long romance that provides the soundtrack for lovers, kept the lonely company with... Oh, shut up. I don't fucking care about your beautiful poetic alliteration. Automakers such as BMW, Volkswagen, Mazda, and Tesla are removing all AM radios from new electric vehicles because electrical engineers are claiming that the signals can interfere with the sound of AM stations and whatever, I don't know. Ford, one of the nation's top 3 auto sellers, is taking an even bigger step, eliminating AM from all of its vehicles. All right, so anyway, AM radios are no longer going to be available in cars. And everybody is angry. Not everybody, like a bunch of, what the, I can't get my AM radio. Okay, all right, everybody calm the fuck down, okay? Okay, this does not mean that you can't listen to your favorite AM guy because you just gotta listen on an app. The whole goddamn car is going to be a moving computer, okay? Every AM station that you can no longer listen to over the little dial on the car, every single one of them stations has a streaming app. You can still listen to it in your car. I listen to Chicago AM radio, sports radio, The Score, 670 Score, every single moment I'm in my car. I'm not in Chicago. How am I getting this over-the-air terrestrial signal? I'm in Dallas. I'm thousands away. That signal doesn't go 1,000 miles. How am I? Because we don't need terrestrial distribution anymore, okay? That is what's going away. The station and the content and what you love is still going to be available. It's just going to be, you're just going to sit in your car and the screen's going to come up and you're going to go boop, 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 and your favorite radio station is going to come on. Now, it's going to be intimidating, I know, because you've never done that before. But after you do it 3 times, you're going to be like, I can't believe I thought this was so hard. And then you know what you're going to do? You're going to enjoy even more of what AM radio has to offer as soon as you realize you don't just have to listen to that guy in your hometown. Now you can listen to AM radio guys from all over. Oh my God. See, the content isn't going away. The means of distribution is going away. Okay, that's what has to go away. AM radio is only called AM because you receive it. It's an amplitude modulated signal that you receive terrestrial. That's why it's called that. But if that show wasn't on the air, that show could be a podcast, that show could be a live stream, that show could be any of the other things that are available to it in 2023. the AM signal, this is what's going away. Do you realize that radio stations, they have these towers, right? You know, these, you feel, well, there's trouble out at the tower. Do you know how expensive these towers are? We're talking about $1 million in maintenance. These are giant structures that were built 100 years ago and need to be maintained. The number one cost of a radio is typically the engineering and maintenance. And guess what isn't needed anymore? That. So why do we still have all these AM radio stations? Because their business model is built on pretending it's still 1998. And in 1998, they had that tower, and don't upset anything. Any kind of a change is going to mean like 6 months of like not money like it is now. And they can't. So they're just milking. That's what milking it is. That's why they're still in operation. They shouldn't be. They should be blowing up these towers and going, our signals are just digital. If you want to listen to our show in your car, you're going to have to get the app, or you're going to have to go to the Odyssey app or the iHeart app. All Cumulus app. All of these major radio operators have an app that is in your car that no longer has an AM button, but you still have the content. You can still receive it. So please stop panicking about AM radio going away. It's stupid. It irks me. Every time I see the AM radio, every time I see the AM and the FM, I'm like, this is not how people listen anymore. Why is this taking up space on the dash? And that's why it's going away. It doesn't need to be there. Every car used to have ashtrays everywhere. Every car used to have a cigarette lighter. The cigarette lighter went away. And you want to smoke? Well, you're going to stop smoking. What? Yeah, you're going to stop smoking. 20 years, no one's going to smoke anymore. That's crazy. Anyway, things change, man. Things change. AM radio going away. Here's a story that broke this morning that's, got me in a pickle. I don't get this story at all. See this story about sugar substitutes that's trending today? We all rely on sugar substitutes. Why? Because we all love the delicious flavor of Sweetsies. We love the sugar. Sugar. But guess what? All the sugar that we like makes us stupid fat. And then we get the diabetes. And when nobody wants the diabetes, a lot of people got the diabetes. It doesn't look fun. So what do? We take the stevia. We take the zero. I don't know what was invented to implement this soda pop age that we're in right now, the age of the 0-calorie soda. It's got to be some kind of new flavor. It's got to be some kind of new, I don't know what it is, but it's a magnificent. Do you know what I did over the weekend? I had an ice cold can of Coke and an ice cold can of Coke Zero. Now, I reached in the cans look different, or they look similar, but different. Like Coke Zero has a black, the Coke is written in black, so that's how you know it's Coke Zero. But they're just red cans. And I reached in and I grabbed a can and I thought it was Coke Zero and it was regular Coke and I opened it. And I went, oh no. So then I didn't want that. So then I went and I opened it up and I grabbed a Coke Zero. And I opened that and I thought, wow, I've got two ice cold. I got a can of Coke Zero and a can of Coke. I tasted them both side by side. And I don't know, man. I mean, they tasted the same to me. It's like Coke Zero with 0 calories tastes exactly the same as, I tasted them side by side. Tasted exactly the same as fully leaded Coke, which has like 1 billion calories. So if I've got 0 calories and I'm drinking anyway, that's how I live my life. I live my life on the appreciation of the sugar substitute. And now I wake up this morning and I see that apparently sugar substitutes are bad for us. Don't use sugar substitutes for weight loss, the World Health Organization advises. Okay, what does this mean now? Don't use sugar substitutes if you are trying to lose weight. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. But what about just, will they make me gain weight? See, this is the problem with it. Because I'm going to drink Coke. Here's the deal. I'm going to drink Coke, okay? If I drink the Coke with 0 calories, is that better than the Coke with 800 million calories? Is it better which is better for me? Just tell me that. I don't need to know. The global health body said a systematic review of the available evidence suggests the use of non-sugar sweeteners, or NSS, does not confer any long-term benefit in reducing body fat in adults or children. What? I don't think anybody thought drinking a Coke Zero was going to make them burn fat. What the fuck is this? Nobody thought that. The question is, am I adding to anything that I'm trying to... Am I adding? I don't think that this is like a magical elixir. If you drink diet sodas, you'll lose weight. Do people think... Wait a second. Do people think that? Do people think drinking diet soda makes them lose weight? It's not about losing. It's about cutting calorie intake. It's a compromise. You still want the flavor of some kind of carbonated cola beverage, but you don't want the sugar. You don't want the calories. No. Is it just dawning on me that there are people out there who are like, I'm going to drink some of my magic fat reduction soda. Because if that's what this story's about, this isn't a story at all. No normal person thought drinking diet soda would make you lose weight. We all drink diet soda because we don't want to add weight. The review also indicated that there might be potentially undesirable effects from the long-term use of sugar substitutes, such as an increased risk of type 2 diabetes. What? Well, now that's one of the reasons why we don't want the diabetes. And now you're telling us that how? Oh, this is, is this one of them deals where, well, you're tricking your body into thinking that it's getting sugar so that when your body actually gets real sugar. Is it one of them kind of deals where my body's just being stupid? The organization said its recommendation applies to all people except those with pre-existing diabetes. Okay, you people who already got the diabetes, who are wheeling around Walmart in the electric vehicles, you people you just keep doing what you're doing. Don't worry about it. Don't, because those people are like, can I go back to drinking Kool-Aid now? Those people wanted to no, you can't. Stay with the diet soda, you people. This new guideline is based on a thorough assessment of the latest scientific literature, and it emphasizes that the use of artificial sweeteners is not a good strategy for achieving weight loss by reducing dietary energy intake. What does that mean? That sounds like that might mean something. Like I should understand that. Yeah, moving on. However, this should not be interpreted as an indication that sugar intake has no relevance to weight control. Instead, one should cut back on using sugar-sweetened drinks and try to use raw or lightly processed fruit as a source of... Oh, shut up! We're not all Dr. Johnson! We can't all go to the fruit stand and mash our... What do you even mash? And mash our fruits to get the sugar pulp that we can then put in our $400 sugar processing... Shut up, Dr. Johnson! Shut up! The rest of us just need a little sugar burst every now and again. No, what you should really do is you should use fresh fruits to get all of your sugar from. Fresh fruits. Shut up. Shut up with your expensive fresh fruits. I bought some halos, the cute little cuties, little oranges. It's so disappointing. I don't know what the hell's going on. When those damn things are good, I'll just sit on the couch and watch TV and eat an entire bag, right? That'll be my snack. That's better than chips, right? That's better than nachos or some shit like that. I'll just eat a bag of like ice cold little halos just because they peel so easy. They come off in like one thing. As a little game I like to play, I like to try and just make one incision and then get the whole thing out like in one piece. So anyway, that's what I do. So I'll buy these halos and I can't figure out what time of year I'm supposed to buy them because I'm so depressed. Sometimes they're the most magical thing you ever put in your mouth. They are just bursting with flavor and sweetness. And at other times, they're just like, what is this, fish? It's just weird. It's like, I don't know. I bought a bag of halos over the weekend, and I'm very disappointed because they aren't good. They're not sweet. They're dry. So that's why I can't just be going willy-nilly with fruit, Dr. Johnson. Sometimes the fruit ain't good, and it's a little more expensive, so now I've just wasted that money. But Dr. Johnson would like us all to stop. He would like us all to just derive our fruit or our sugars from raw and fresh fruits. All right, Dr. Johnson. Let's see here. Miracle. Oh, here's a fun one. Do you see this? This is happening in This is such BS, man. All right, guys, look. You know, if y'all, I begrudge no man his faith. And I'm a seeker. I'm the kind of guy that, I was born and raised Catholic. And, I've jumped off that boat when I was a younger man. And I'm unaffiliated. I'm an unrestricted free agent in the faith game. So I judge no man his faith, but I do think a lot of it's silly. And here's a situation happening at a church in Connecticut that is so sketchy and so shady, but it's a miracle. And the Vatican is investigating this miracle at this church in Hartford, Connecticut. All right, here's the story. Are you ready? It's so sketchy. It is so sketchy. It's like, really? We're calling this a miracle? This is a miracle? And you're going to attribute it to this guy who you want to be a saint? And then this guy is going to be a saint based on this miracle? This miracle. Okay. So here's the story. Possible miracle at Connecticut church is currently being investigated by the Vatican. Well, the Vatican, they're just being good sports. I just think they're, Hartford, Connecticut. The results of an investigation into the reports of a possible miracle at Thomaston, Connecticut. Thomaston must be a place. Thomaston's St. Thomas Church have been sent to the Vatican. On March 5th, the Reverend Joseph Crowley, pastor of St. Maximilian Colby Parish, which includes St. Thomas, reported that during Holy Communion, okay, this is the miracle. During Holy Communion, a layperson is a non-church affiliated individual, just a congregant. During Holy Communion, a layperson distributing hosts, that's the little wafer you get there. Sometimes, you got to have multiple lines because sometimes it's a big turnout on Sunday. You can't just have the priest in the one line. It'll take all day. So you got to bring up some, deacons and church people and they, all these lines. You form different lines and you go, and here you go, body of Christ and all that. Okay. So that's what the person's doing. On March 5th, the Reverend Joseph Crowley, pastor of St. Maximilian Colby Parish, which includes St. Thomas, reported that during Holy Communion, a layperson distributing hosts had found that the wafers had multiplied. Oh! God duplicated himself, Crowley said after the communion. God provides. It's strange how God does that. God has provided a miracle because a layperson miscounted. You get it? That's the miracle. So she's got a little plate full of things and she's handing them out and she looks down. She doesn't have them anymore. And she looks down again and that's such a stupid miracle. That is such a weak-ass miracle. Oh, but there's more. When one investigates this story, you start to see, I see what's going on here. I'll continue the story. David Elliott, a spokesperson for the Archdiocese, issued a statement that reports such as the alleged miracle in Thomaston require referral to the dicastery for the doctrine of the faith in Rome. I don't know what that is. That means the Vatican's got to get it out. Comments would be forthcoming about Archbishop. No other comments would be forthcoming from Archbishop Leonard Blair of the Archdiocese. Crowley did not return a call seeking comment. Okay, so here we go. Ready? Here we go. St. Thomas, this church, was the final parish served by the Reverend Michael McGivney, who is founder of the Knights of Columbus. You get it? Knights of Columbus, gigantic Catholic organization, Knights of Columbus. So the guy who started the Knights of Columbus, 200 years ago or whatever, the guy who started that was a reverend at this church. Okay? All right. You following me? St. Thomas St. Thomas's Parish, was the final parish served by the Reverend Michael McGivney, founder of the Knights of Columbus. McGivney has been beatified to God, we so happened to have a miracle at the last church where he was. Come on. Oh, shit. This church just wants this guy to be a saint so that they can now be like, look, we're a saint's home church, which is apparently a big deal if you're a church, to be the home church of an actual saint. This is a lie. And again, I begrudge no man his faith. But come on, you're looking at this story and you're like, well, doesn't this seem to line up just perfectly for everyone involved? I mean, it's like, come on. They want this guy to be Saint McGilvney. He used to be a preacher at this church. They want him to be a Roman Catholic saint. He's already gone through the first process, which is the beatification process. So he's like on deck to become a saint. All he needs is the miracle. Now, he has 15, but there's 20 now. It's a miracle. Let's make him a saint. Let's make him a saint. Anyway, that's the miracle of Connecticut. Seems like a bit of a work to me. Seems like the church, the archdiocese, and all those people would benefit greatly from this guy becoming a saint. Seems like that would be good. It'd be good branding for the church and the parish. Our parish has a saint. Does your parish have a saint? So, it's just interesting that this all played out the way it did. Apple is trending. Apple is trending. Old Tim Cook's Apple. Or dare we say it, Steve Jobs. Have we forgotten about Steve Jobs? Apple is trending because Apple had a big announcement. Apparently, Apple's got this new thing. It's a $3,000 VR headset. You know about this thing? Apparently, it's great. Apparently, it's supposed to be a market reshifter in the world of VR. I guess Oculus and all that kind of stuff. Actually, the creator of the Oculus is the guy who started off all this hubbub on the new Apple VR. The creator of Oculus just sent out a tweet saying the new Apple VR is so great, right? So that's the Oculus guy saying that the VR at Apple is really great. Apple's next major product is so good. That's what he said. Expert claims. And we could get a glimpse of it within weeks. Early reviews of upcoming Apple VR product suggests that it will live up to the hype. The Apple headset is expected to be unveiled in June before a release in September. Apple's next major product is mere weeks away from launching, and an early review suggests it will live up to the hype. Palmer Luckey, the 30-year-old American entrepreneur and founder of the Oculus VR platform, appears to have tried the new Apple device. Luckey, who sold his firm Oculus to Meta for $3 billion at 21 years old. I don't begrudge him. He's not a rich kid. Well, I mean, he's a kid and he's rich, but he did it on his own. Good for him. I begrudge him nothing. Woo! Imagine that. 21 years old, you work on something in your dorm room. You create something at 21 that sells for $3 billion. Oh, man. Luckey, who sold his firm Oculus to Meta for $3 billion back in 2014 at the age of 21. He said in a tweet on Sunday, the Apple headset is so good. I don't know much about VR and all that kind of stuff. My kid loves it. I've been inside the helmet. I put a helmet on. I've seen it. Cool. I don't know what should my response be. It's interesting. It certainly is a different way of playing games, and I get that appeal, and I can see why kids of this generation would love it. I don't ever see VR becoming a very big part of my life. I don't know. Maybe I should, though. Maybe I should be more open to it, because isn't that how you get prematurely old? When just these little things start coming and you stop. It's like, nope, not gonna do it. Like somewhere right now there's an 88-year-old who's never been online. Because, 25 years ago he was like, I ain't getting one of them computers. Now he's 88 and he has no idea what any of this stuff is we're talking about. So you don't want to be that. You don't want to be that. But I don't know, I just don't know that VR appeals to me. Let's talk about Vice. We've been tracking Vice for the past couple of... hold on a second here, folks. Let me see something. Interesting. Okay. We've been talking about Vice, the news magazine Vice. Well, it's official. They are bankrupt. Vice has completely run it into the ground. A couple weeks back, they got rid of Vice News, and they laid off a bunch of people, and the worst was being predicted. And today, the worst has come to pass. Vice Media has filed. There's an interesting story. Vice is being called one of the largest startups to flame out of the last decade. However, I push back on that. I don't believe Vice was a flame out. I believe Vice was a successful thing that was driven into the ground. I don't see it as a new idea that was backed by venture capital that failed. I don't see that. I see Vice as a new idea that was backed by venture capital that went on to be very successful for almost a decade, and then mismanagement and not understanding what they were supposed to be is what led to this point. So anyway, that being said, this was an interesting companion piece to the Vice story. Vice has filed for bankruptcy. It's the biggest startup flameouts of all time, okay? Now, some of these I've never heard of. Some of them, obviously, I have. Intarkia, you know what Intarkia is? It was a Boston-based company. It raised $1.98 billion from venture capitalists. At one point, it was the most highly valued biotech startup ever. But the company's best thing, they couldn't get FDA approval for. And then, nobody ever heard of them anymore. Company filed for bankruptcy protection in late 2020 and early last year threw in the towel. Intarsia, whatever. All right, here's a big one. We heard about this when it went down. FTX. That's right, FTX. Its rise to serve over 1 million users, its $32 billion valuation, and its stunning collapse is fundamentally one about its charismatic founder, Sam Bankman-Fried. Katera. You ever heard of Katera? Katera was a Silicon startup. Followed the same path as several companies on this list. And that rule, fake it till you make it. But then they never made it. Let's see here. CEO got canned for a year. Raised around $1.4 billion from firms like SoftBank and Khosla Ventures. That's okay, because all of these banks that put all of these money into all of these ideas that go absolutely nowhere because these banks didn't do their due diligence and just, was making deals on the golf course. We're just going to bail all these banks out. It's okay. Remember, we saw it with Silicon Valley Bank, and don't worry. These guys can make all the bad deals for all these bullshit startups and put all this money in. And when they become insolvent, we, the good people of America, will rush in and give them our paychecks so that they can then, make their banks. Now, do we? Remember Quibi? This was a big mistake. Jeffrey Katzenberger, who seems pretty infallible to entertainment. Quibi wanted everyone to think shorter, but didn't realize how apropos that would become. Quibi, the digital video upstart led by Hollywood and Silicon Valley royalty Jeffrey Katzenberger and Mag Whitman, lasted just 6 months. Along the way, it burned through as much as $1.75 billion. All right. So what was Quibi? Quibi was like short videos? It was like YouTube, but everything's like 15 seconds? I don't know. I didn't get it. I don't know. Anyway, Vice Media, they tried to put Vice Media in with these other ones, but I don't think so. I think Vice Media was successful. I think that they were... I think that the guy in charge was a D-bag. Shane Black or something. Yeah. Eurovision. Because we live in a global society now where we're all connected, but I'm like following Eurovision on Twitter. Not following, but I'm seeing like I'm being updated without my consent about what's happening with Eurovision. Eurovision is like, I guess it's been around for a long time, like years, like decades, like way longer than American Idol. But it's basically like American Idol, except it's all the countries in Europe. And I guess the premise is each country writes a song, like a pop song, and then they all come together in this competition. And It's country versus country. They love it over there. I mean, it is massively and every time I hear about Eurovision, oh, this year's Eurovision, every time I hear about Eurovision, I'm like, man, we could do that here. How great would that be? Like the song, a band or a group or a performer or an artist or whatever from Texas, they write a song, and then their song is going up against the song from the California. That's Eurovision. Anyway, it's a very big deal over there. It's like super big deal. It's like big like soccer. Seriously, it's like the #1 watched thing in all of Europe. And it's over. And it just ended. I guess it was happening this weekend or something. I don't know. Sweden won. I guess Sweden wrote the best song. I don't even know. I haven't heard the song. I don't know. Loreen of Sweden has become the first woman and only the second person in history to win the Eurovision Song Contest twice. Europe's biggest music party saw the likes of Finnish rapper Karija and Australian rockers Voyager performed during a dazzling 4-hour spectacle in Liverpool. But after a marathon vote count, Swedish star Loreen was crowned Eurovision winner after raising the roof with her performance of a power ballad, Tattoo. Her song is called Tattoo. However, fans were left raging and hit out at the competition's voting system, with some claiming the jury vote ruined the competition. I don't know what that means. That's a European thing. One fan said, time to remove jury votes. People know better. So a jury vote, I guess, here's what I'm getting. I'm guessing that the people of Europe, with their phone voting, they make up a certain percentage of who the winner is. But then there's like a jury vote, which is made up of your Simon Cowells, and you're like experts in the music industry. And I guess that's all factored in. So people are upset because apparently Loreen won because the jury liked her. One fan said, time to remove jury votes. People know better. Oh, sweetie, no, you don't. No, you don't. The people do not know better. I mean, I know we have to tell ourselves that. People do to seek out those people who do know better. But you got a bunch of people who don't know better. So, nothing. 15 people you encounter, they know nothing. That 16th person is who you want to focus on. Let's see here. All right, I got nothing else about Eurovision. I don't even know what it is. Actually, hold on. Now I want to know. All right, whatever. We're not doing anything today. It's a Sunday afternoon. Let's fall down a wiki hole, shall we? Okay. Eurovision. All right, let me find. Here's what Wikipedia says Eurovision Song Contest is. The Eurovision Song Contest, often known simply as Eurovision, is an international song competition organized annually by the European Broadcast Union. Each participating country submits an original song to be performed live and transmitted to national broadcasters via the Eurovision and Euroradio networks, with competing countries then casting votes for the other country's songs to determine a winner. So you can't vote for your own country, I guess. I guess that eliminates the problem of like China winning everyone. Well, I guess China wouldn't be in Eurovision. You know what I mean, though? Like, okay. All right. That kind of makes sense. Based on the San Remo Music Festival, held in Italy since 1951, Eurovision has been held annually since 1956. Wow. 1956. Apart from 2020. Well, why? What happened in 2020? Oh, pandemic. Yeah, okay. Making it the longest running annual international televised music competition. Anyway, Sweden won. We don't care. We're never going to hear the song. I don't know. I mean, like, do we know any Eurovision songs? Like, have any Eurovision winning songs gone on to break American radio? I wouldn't be surprised if you learned that, like, Milli Vanilli's, Blame It on the Rain was like a Eurovision went, right? Like maybe something like that. I don't know. Let's see here. Eurovision. All right, this one's going out to all my degenerate buddies. That's right, Byron. We're going to talk a little bit about Doyle Brunson. Doyle Brunson has passed away. He was a big winner. He's a gambler, but Doyle Brunson has died. Doyle Brunson has died at 59. I met this dude once, like 20 years ago. We did some like smoker thing, and he was like a big celebrity. Yeah, I mean, he seemed nice. I didn't know I knew like people were like, he's important, and he was a very nice man. Like, I didn't hang out with him, but yeah, shook his hand. So it's very sad, when anybody whose hand I have shook passes away. Was he from here? Did he live here? Something like that. Let's find out together, shall we? Doyle Brunson, widely regarded as the godfather of poker, died Sunday in Vegas. He was 89. Nicknamed Texas Dolly, Brunson won 10 World Series of poker tournaments, including the main event in 76 and 77. His book, Super System, influenced a generation of poker players, and he was inducted into the Poker Hall of Fame in 1988. Brunson's agent, Brian Ballsbaugh, yeah, that's his name, Ballsbaugh, it is with a heavy heart we announce the passing of Doyle Brunson. Husband and father and grandfather will have more to say over the coming days as we honor his legacy. Please keep Doyle and our family in your prayers. May he rest in peace. All right. There you go. Let's see, what else does it say here about him? As he detailed in his memoir, it was called The Godfather of Poker. As he detailed in his memoir, The Godfather of Poker, Brunson saw poker grow from illegal games in Texas back rooms with players often shunned by society to nationally televised broadcasts that made players, including Brunson, into celebrities. Born on August 10th, 1933, he grew up on a farm with no indoor plumbing in Longworth, Texas, where he was a standout athlete. He won the Texas Class 2A state championship in the mile in 1950 and was named to the 2A state basketball all-tournament team. Brunson attended Hardin-Simons University in Abilene, Texas. What's that? Hardin-Simons University in Abilene, Texas? Never heard of it. And he helped the basketball team reach the NCAA tournament in 1953 as a junior. He was inducted into that school's Athletic Hall of Fame in 2009. Brunson was scouted by the Minneapolis Lakers, but he sustained a broken leg while working a summer job that ended his basketball career. Instead, Brunson went to graduate school and traveled to college towns across Texas on weekends to play poker. All right. 89. We don't know how he died. How about being 89? How about being 89 and living a hell of a life? There you go. That'll do it. Doyle Brunson could be considered a dude who knew how to do it. Here's a dude who does not know how to do it. John Morant. John Morant is trending today. John Morant is a John trouble, man. I don't know what to do about John Morant. John Morant has the entire freaking world. John Morant might be one of the most exciting basketball players to come along in a very long time. Now, I'm not elevating him to the likes of, Magic or Kobe or LeBron or Michael. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is John Morant has an opportunity now to acquire generational wealth for his family for the next 100 years. Simply by just towing the line for the next 4 or 5 years. And he can't seem to do it. John Morant is apparently a garbage human being. John Morant, who was his gun, he was in some club, I think it was after a game or something, and he's like, he did some Instagram video, and he's like, yeah, he's in, got in a lot of trouble. He did the mea culpa. The wrong people, got in trouble with the team, got with the league, all of that stuff. Okay. They're out of the playoff picture, and on Saturday night, John Morant's rolling around with some buddies, and they're filming videos because that's what these idiot kids do. They film everything. Look, it's not so bad that you film everything, but then you upload everything. It's like, you film everything because you don't want people. Nobody thinks you're cool. Grant has been suspended after Grizzlies star with a gun for the second time. The Memphis Grizzlies have suspended John Morant from all team activities after, well, the team's, first of all, it's the offseason, so, this is going to have to kick. We'll see how we feel, right? The next year, start of the new season. See if he's still suspended. The Grizzlies announced the suspension, which is pending a league review, in a statement on Sunday. 2 months after the NBA suspended Morant over a similar incident, the team did not provide any further comment. We are aware of the social media post involving John Morant and are in the process of gathering more information, NBA spokesperson Mike Bass said in a statement. On Saturday, during an Instagram live session on Morant's friend Devontae Pack's account, the All-Star flashed a handgun while driving and singing along to a rap song. The video has since been deleted. Morant left the Grizzlies and entered a counseling program in March after a video showed him holding a gun while intoxicated at a Denver club. He was eventually suspended 8 games after meeting with the NBA Commissioner Alan Silver, who called Morant's conduct irresponsible, reckless, and potentially very dangerous. At the time of the suspension, Morant told ESPN that he realized what I have to lose and said that he would try to be more responsible now, smarter. Yeah, well, no, he's an idiot. He's a kid. Look, I don't know what the f is going on down. Here's the thing about the Memphis Grizzlies. So there are other teams. There are other teams in this league where if you've got a young superstar, there are alumni of that team who will come and put themselves around this young superstar and teach them how to do it right, be a professional. Chicago, you see this in New York, you see this in Boston, you see this in LA with the Lake. Yeah, I don't know that you have this in Memphis. Who the fuck? Paul Gasol? Who's icon of walk onto that court, put his arm around John Morant and say this is how you do it? I don't know. Because this is unbelievable. It's not. It's the act itself is unbelievably bad. Yo, look at me! I got a gun. That's not unbelievably bad. What's unbelievably bad? Problem. That's unbelievably. That's what's way more troubling than John Morant. Because if he had just said, hi, I'm with the gun, there, and no one had seen the gun, if he had just said hi, that would have been fine. Whatever. We wouldn't have known. But he didn't have the sense to know that yo on the Instagram Live was a potentially career upending move. This is just stupidity. Now you can chalk it up because a kid he doesn't know. Again, I say, who's going to come and put their arm around this kid and say, hey, man, this is not how you do it? I said, Allen Iverson was talking about John Morant a couple of months back, and I remember thinking at the time, oh, that could be a good mentor for him. Because certainly Allen Iverson made some real mistakes. Allen Iverson seems to be a fairly thoughtful and matured man at this point. He would be great. So that'd be kind of weird. But who's from that area? Like, is there anybody from that area that could show him how to be a professional athlete? That could show him how to do it? I just don't think Memphis is like, I don't know. It's very upsetting. It's very upsetting. I'm sorry. I was trying to engage with Adam, but I couldn't tell where his thread started. So, all right. So here's a little something that I want to mention. This one I enjoy. Here's some good news. Justified. Anybody out there like Justified, the TV show on FX? Oh, so good. Raylan Givens. I love me some Justified. One of the best television shows of the past 20 years. I mean, I would have to make a list. I don't know. You know what? Would it make top 10? I don't know. It's one of my favorites. I have a rotation of like 5 or 6 shows that I will just every couple of years go back and re-binge watch. And it's in there. Justified is in there with The Sopranos and The Wire And what else do I have? Battlestar Galactica. Yeah, all these things, I just rotate them, and they're new to me. Can't see them enough. Justified, loved it. Justified went off the air a couple of years ago. So good. Such a great show. Oh my God, one of the best dialogue shows. The dialogue, Walton Goggins. It's the show that made Walton Goggins a star. I mean, I know that he had the shield and all that stuff, but it was Boyd Crowder, his character, Walton Goggins' character, Givens. Oh, Justified, so good. Well, guess what? I'm not the only person who's been like, Justified went off the air after like 6 or 7 seasons, and it didn't have to go off the air. It was still good. Why did it go off the air? It's coming back! Justified! Raylan Givens! It's coming back. Although they're not going to be in, what county was it? I don't know what county it was. Something county. I don't know, whatever county, Kentucky. They were in Kentucky in the show Justified. This series is called, here, let me make sure we get this, City Primeval. The series will be called Justified City Primeval. And it is a continuation of Raylan Givens. Raylan no longer lives in his Kentucky hillfolk town. He has moved back to Miami, Florida, where he is raising his daughter. He and they got the little girl, where he's raising his daughter. And he's still working for the, what was he? He was a marshal, the Federal Marshal Service, Marshal Raylan Givens. And apparently he gets called to Detroit to handle some Detroit mob nonsense. And that's where City Primeval comes from. Very excited. Very excited. And if you remember, all the mob stuff in Justified came out of either Dixie Mafia, which was like, the Southern Mafia, or Detroit. The Detroit Mafia family was, the big Mafia family that controlled all the meth and all that stuff in Justified. So it would make sense for Braylon to then go up to Detroit and deal with that mob family up there. Justified City Primeval, the long-awaited spin-off to FX's Western-style drama. It's not a Western, it's modern, but he wears a cowboy hat, so it is kind of Western vibe. The long-awaited spin-off to FX's Western drama has a premiere date ahead of Fox's Upfronts. The network announced that City Primeval, a sequel to Justified, will premiere on July 18th. Additionally, FX announced the premiere dates for What We Do in the Shadows, Reservation Dogs, and Archer. First premiering in 2010, Justified quickly became a critical darling. It was. Oh, the critics love it. It's got like a 100% approval rating. You've never seen Justified because you think it's one thing. No, it ain't what you think. It's really good. First premiering in 2010, Justified became a critical darling. Throughout the series run, Crowder was nominated for 8 Emmys. Oh, he's so good as Boyd Crowder. And both Margot Martindale and Jeremy Davies won Emmys for their performances. The series followed Deputy U.S. Marshal Raylan Givens, Timothy Oliphant, who I'm so queer for, a tough lawman who administers his own brand of justice. All right, so that's coming back. What's it say here? Oh, now this beloved universe, it's going to tell us a little bit about the storyline. Now this beloved universe is expanding thanks to Justified City Primeval. The continuation will follow Raylan Givens after his Kentucky days as he helps raise his daughter. His life will change when he's forced to go to Detroit to track down the Oklahoma Wild Man. The spin-off series was developed by, who cares? Anyway, there you go. Good news. If you're like me and you love Justified, it's back. Harlan, that's it. Thank you, Adam. It's Harlan County. I kept wanting to say Hazard County, but it's Harlan. And yeah, it's based on Fire in the Hole, which was a short story. This is what's so amazing about creation. So Elmore Leonard, obviously one of our great storytellers. Elmore Leonard, the short story Fire in the Hole, which I ended up reading retroactively because I wasn't familiar with it until I became a huge fan of Justified. Fire in the Hole is a short story, and they took just the origins of the characters, the storyline, the beginning, the jumping off point for the short story Fire in the Hole. And they created this entire massive universe out of it. So it's actually really cool. If you are a fan of Justified, next time you have like a bowel movement or something, go online and see if you can find a quick little copy of Elmore Leonard's. You can do it in one sitting. It's a short story. It's good. Very exciting. Justified is coming back. Although the Leonard family will be executive producers on this, as they were executive producers on Justified, there will be no Leonards writing this. Wasn't Justified also? Justified was also the series. Yes, this is what's fun about Justified here in Dallas. Justified is the series where the writers of Justified, one or a couple of them or something, were from Dallas, and they were really big fans of The Ticket, the radio station here in Dallas. So over the course of Justified, there's a whole bunch of characters that are introduced on Justified that have ticket names. Like, they're named after people. Like Gordon Keith is one of the guys, a character that's mentioned, name checked. Ty Walker is another one. They use ticket terminology, like the gangsters in Harlan. They use terminology, phrases coined by The Ticket, like wheels off, and he's real wheels off, isn't stuff like that. It's very fun. Anyway, that's just an added thing to appreciate about Justified. If you're a fan of The Ticket while watching Justified, if you hear some things, you go, that sounds like a ticket. It is. The writers used to write the show while listening to The Ticket, which I call bullshit on, because as someone who's dabbled in writing, I can't write with any outside noise. I need complete silence. All right, that's going to do it. That's going to do it as far as all the stuff that we have prepared. But let's jump over to the trends and let's see if there's anything new that is happening today. Once again, I could remind you, please tip the show. Help out the show if you can. This month is bad because last month was terrible. So if anything you drop in, treat me like I'm your valet, your pizza guy, whatever. If you enjoy the show, we do this show for at least 2 hours every Monday through Friday, and then we do a nighttime show that we call Pugs and Parker Proudly Present Pillow Talk. That's with E and sometimes Key. That's right. We're trying to expand that show to include as many people who want to hang out with us. That's Monday through Friday at 9 p.m. So if you enjoy any of the content that we put out, whether this show Monday through Friday, noon to 2, or the nighttime show at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, say thank you with a little something that you can drop there in the tip jar. Venmo, Cash App, all that stuff. Thank you, folks. Why is Miller Lite trending? Is Miller Lite trending because they finally decided to play up the fact that it was Jeffrey Dahmer's favorite beer? Oh no, is the anti-woke coming for Miller Lite? Hold on. Miller Lite is now under attack by many for creating this ad, which pays homage to women. The ad is actually, okay, whatever. I don't know what that's about. This is why I don't like to jump into Twitter trends at the end of the show. It always lacks context. And Martha Stewart is trending. We almost mentioned this, right? Martha Stewart, apparently she's putting on a bathing suit. She's going to be in the Sports Illustrated issue. Is that what's happening here? Yeah, I guess she is. All right, so here, do we have a picture of her? Let's see if we can share a picture of her. Martha Stewart, Sports Illustrated. Bum, 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 bum. Have you ever seen a picture of Martha Stewart from like the 60s, 70s? Have you? Gorgeous. She's gorgeous. I mean, she was a fashion model. That's where she came from. She was. So, you tell me, what is she, 75 or whatever? Hold on. I'll show you these pictures. And is she going to look good? Oh, man, come on. I mean, I'm not surprised that she looks good. Oh, boy. All right, is this going to be it? Yeah, apparently that's going to be it. All right. Is she in her 80s? I don't even know how old she is. Boom, we'll make that bigger, though. All right, here, I guess I got to share it over. That's not bad. That is not bad. All you gotta do is look at her face. She's a beautiful woman. Martha Stewart is gorgeous. She's a beautiful woman. How old is she? Let's see, how old is Martha Stewart? How old is Martha Stewart? She's 81 years old. Oh my God, she's 81 years old. And you know what? Can we also give a little credit? Let's get a little credit for Martha Stewart here, okay? A little credit to her. Martha Stewart didn't panic when she turned 40. You know, a lot of these beautiful women, they panic and they start doing all this crazy plastic surgery so that by the time they get to be 81, they look terrible. Martha Stewart looks amazing. I'm looking at a picture of her face right now. She looks great. She looks like an older woman. She is an older woman, but she doesn't look all plastic. She doesn't look all weird like she's had 50 years of... And it's not even 50 years of like the good plastic surgery that you get today. It's like would have started back in the 80s. Hold on. Here, let me... La, la, la. Let me see here. All right, let's do these. Oh, hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Oh, yeah, Al says, is that picture brushed up? It absolutely is. But, you know, not, you still got something to work with there. Yeah. Sorry. For some reason, hold on. I've got to try and refresh this stream. I've got to. Hold on. Okay. Yep, there we go. Right back down. I don't know what the heck is going on here. All I'm trying to do is share a friggin' picture. Oh my goodness. Hold on. All right. Huh? That's Martha Stewart. That ain't too bad. That's Martha Stewart. Look at her. That's like look at her. Look at how cute she is. Look at her like 1970s Martha Stewart. The hair is bad. I hate that hairstyle, but you know, Martha Stewart looking pretty good. Martha Stewart looking pretty good. Martha Stewart looking pretty good. So I'm not surprised she held up well, you know? Look at that. Okay, look at it. She was beautiful, right? I mean, look at is that Martha Stewart? Is that like, what is that, like 19-year-old Martha Stewart? Yeah, look, Martha Stewart was hot, so it's not surprising to me that at 81 years old, she still looks pretty good. They hold up well. Christy Brinkley, another good example of that. Yeah. Talk about Martha. Is she on the cover girl of the new Sports Illustrated? I don't know. That's the picture that's circulating, but I don't know. I'm getting Twitter trends, and that's like so sketch. Let me see here. Weeds. Why is Weeds trending? Hold on. Why is Weeds trending? Is Weeds trending because Showtime is looking to bring back 2 of its signature comedy series? Oh, very exciting. Nurse Jackie and Weeds. All right, Nurse Jackie, I don't care about that. I know people like Nurse Jackie. They're like, Nurse Jackie's great, and that's fine. That's fine. I mean, people like it. I never really watched it. Maybe that's something in my future that I have to look forward to. That at some point I'll be able to watch Nurse Jackie and go, why did I take so long to watch this? I'm sure it's a good show. But Weeds, funny show. I'm watching. I'm loving the new season of Succession because I'm Uncle and president. I don't know. He plays this Mencken guy who's like this kind of fascist guy running for president, and I don't know. Whatever. I don't want to spoil anything for you. I don't know if he won or not, but that's Uncle Andy. And every time I see this guy, I'm like, that's Uncle Andy from Weeds. We need more Uncle Andy. Showtime is looking to bring back 2 of its signature comedy series, Nurse Jackie and Weeds. Deadline, here's the original leads. Edie Falco and Mary Louise Parker are attached to star and executive produce both. Oh, that's wonderful. Nancy Botwin. Oh my God, did I love Nancy Botwin. Possibly my favorite female character of all time. The lead. She is a suburban mom, lives in a beautiful little suburban cul-de-sac. Her husband drops dead of a heart attack, leaving her with absolutely nothing except this suburban existence and a whole bunch of bills. And, shit wasn't tidy when he died, so there were some problems. So she somehow finds herself as the weed dealer to this suburban mom. She's like doing carpools and all that stuff, but she's also the weed dealer and she becomes like this drug kingpin. It's very good. It's such a funny show. It's funny. It's smart. It's well done. So happy to hear that's coming back. What a wonderful thing to learn today. See, I didn't know Weeds was coming back. I was excited. Hey, you were with me 10 minutes ago. I was very, very excited back. Oh no. I just realized I'm becoming old. Oh my God. Oh my God. Being excited that they are rebooting shows that I'm already familiar with and that I'm fans of. Rebooting those shows are being done to appeal to me and the likes of me because we're old and we don't understand new things. Oh my God, that's what they're doing. That's why I'm going to watch Justified, because I don't want to watch Euphoria. I don't understand these kids. I don't know what the hell's going on. Give me Raylan Givens. Give me... Oh, my God. I'm sitting here excited about Weeds and Justified because I'm afraid of what new shows will... I won't understand them. Oh, no. Hey, wait a second. I do have something for you guys. I just finished a nice little experiment. And I'll tell you about it. It took me about a little over a week. About a week or so ago, maybe 2 weeks at this point. Yeah, because I think it was 2 weeks ago when I started this. A new show debuted on HBO Max called Love and Death. And it stars Elizabeth Olsen. And I don't need to tell you about Elizabeth Olsen. She's right up there with my Chastain. She's up there. She's my Scarlett Johansson. She's up there. She's one of my favorites. I love Elizabeth Olsen. I love everything that she does. I think she's so good. She's just got this vulnerability that you're like, okay, I believe this character. Anyway, I don't need to go into it. And she's so good as Wanda. WandaVision, oh my God, she is so good, and all the different type of roles she has to do for that. Anyway, Love Elizabeth Olsen, so I heard she's got a new show on HBO Max called Love and Death, so I start to check it out. I'm like, okay, I'm going to watch this because I'll watch whatever Elizabeth Olsen does. And it's also got Jesse Plemons. Landry from Friday Night Lights. Remember? Like Friday night, like all of those people on Friday Night Lights, and we're like, half these people are going to be superstars in 5 years. Look at all this young talent on this Friday night. Not a single one of them Friday Night Lights people went on to do anything. People don't even know who Minka Kelly is. Minka Kelly dated A-Rod. That's what she's famous for. Taylor Kish Riggins, they tried to make him a star with John Carter, and that movie bombed so badly he never got another movie. Nobody from Friday Night Lights has done anything. Except for Landry, except for Jesse Plemons, who very well might be the finest actor of his generation. He is the perfect hybrid of Matt Damon and Philip Seymour Hoffman. They took those two actors and they mashed them together and they made Jesse Plemons. So they're the stars of the HBO Max show, Love and Death. Elizabeth Olsen and Jesse Plemons. Now, this is, as I read about it, as I start to get myself, up for watching it, I have to read what it's about. And it turns out that Love and Death is the Candy Montgomery story, who, around these parts, Candy Montgomery, she's kind of famous. Candy Montgomery was the wily housewife who, was involved in her church, and she was the soccer mom, and everybody loved her. Candy Montgomery, she's the greatest. And she murdered another housewife with an axe. Killed her 41 times with an axe, Candy Montgomery. So that's what Love and Death is about. And Elizabeth Olsen plays Candy Montgomery. But before I started to watch that, I said to myself, wait a second. Hasn't the story just recently been told? And yeah, Hulu had a 5-episode, Love and Death on HBO Max is a 5-episode miniseries. Hulu, just a couple of months ago, had a 5-episode miniseries called Candy, starring Jessica Biel. Jessica Biel as Candy Montgomery. So I'm like, okay, so we got these two things. This is an interesting story. I like the story. So I spent the last 2 weeks, so it was 10 episodes. Yeah, I think I watched one episode a night. So I spent the last couple of weeks watching both of these Candy Montgomery miniseries. I watched the Hulu, which is called Candy, starring Jessica Biel as Candy Montgomery. It also has Justin Timberlake in that one. That one's funny. Who else is in that one? Who else is in the Hulu one? Is it Melanie Linsky? Maybe is Betty Gore. Betty Gore's the one that got butchered with the axe. I think it's Melanie Linsky. And then in the other one, the HBO one, the woman who gets butchered isn't Melanie Linsky, but it's Lily Rabe, who's another actress. Anyway, it's very interesting. It's the exact same story told in 2 different miniseries with 2 completely different casts of people playing these characters. So I said, I am in. There was nothing else really that I wanted to watch over the last couple of weeks. So I started to watch the Hulu one, and I'm watching it. And here's what I decided. I watched episode 1 of the Hulu Candy miniseries. I watched it, and then I went, okay, first episode of Candy on Hulu is down. Now I'm going to jump, and I'm going to watch the first episode of Love and Death on HBO Max. So I went from Hulu episode 1, watched it. Then I went to HBO Max episode 1 and watched it. And I did that for the first 2 episodes. I did that, and I went back and I watched Hulu episode 2, and then I watched. And you know what I found? I don't think I should do this. I think I should just watch 1 all the way through. Let that story be told to me, and then go and watch it. Because I was getting confused because they're not following the same timeline. You know what I mean? So I was like, Anyway, both of them very good, very, very good. And again, right now I'm speaking to about 4 people, maybe, who have seen both of these, and I get that. But what I would do, I don't know that one is better than the other. I really don't know. They're both really good, and they both, tell the story in their own way. 1980, Wiley, Texas. I don't know, it's just very... Here's what I think. I think I like the cast in the HBO one better. That's Elizabeth Olsen and Jesse Plemons and Lily Rabe. And who else is in that one? What are you doing? Patrick Fugit. Or Patrick Fugit, the actor. Was he in the Terminator movies or something? Anyway, that was the HBO one. I think I like that cast better. but I think I might like the Hulu story better. I think Candy would and you know what? Honestly, when I say I like Elizabeth Olsen better than Jessica Biel was incredible. I mean, they were both just really incredible. I think it just comes down to me having more of an affinity for Elizabeth Olsen. Anyway, there you have it. That's what I've spent the last couple of weeks watching. Hulu, Candy, and then the exact same story told on HBO Max, Love and Death. Let's see, what else do we have here? Bo Jackson is trending. If Bo Jackson is trending because of the story we did a week ago and it's just now. Let me see, why is Bo Jackson trending? It's one of these questions. You can choose just one player to have an injury-free career. Who is it? Yeah, it would be Bo Jackson. It would be Bo. If that's the question, it's like throughout history, you can pick one player to not have the injuries that ended their career. Who would it be? It might be Bo Jackson. Selfishly, I would go with Derrick Rose second. If Derrick Rose had never blown his knee out a year after winning MVP, who knows what that kid could have been? Oh, God, poor Derrick Rose. Yeah, okay, Bo Jackson. Who else are they saying? Oh, somebody just said Odell Beckham. I don't think so. Nah, I don't think so. Who else? Sterling Sharp and Terrell Davis are runners. Like, get the fuck. I hate these people. You people don't know sports. You can't just. You gotta go back for Sterling Sharp. Okay, over Gale Sayers. Right? Seriously. Ugh. Hey. All right. A lot of bad injuries. Let's see. Is there anything else? I'm trying to push the show a little bit further today because you know how I like to do Greg Odom. That's a great one, Adam. Greg Odom, Sam Bowie, basketball. Yeah, a lot of the 7-footers with the bad knees. You know, we learned Zion. You can make that case for Zion right now. I don't know that Zion's ever going to come back. Hell, you can make that case for Lonzo Ball right now. That poor kid, he's going on his 3rd knee surgery now in 2 years. Lonzo Ball still can't jog. Jesus, man. Injuries. What about football? Any big football injuries? I mean, certainly Bo Jackson in the hip, Gale Sayers in the knee. I'm trying to think anybody else. Yao Ming, yeah. But Yao Ming was like when I think of Yao Ming's injuries, is there like one specific injury that comes to mind, and then he was never right again after that? Because I always think that like Yao Ming just always had foot problems. You know, it was always like broken bone in his foot that never healed, or something like that. I don't know. My memory could be a little bit. Who knows? All right, guys. I think that's it. I think we are going to have to call it. We are going to get out of here. We'll be back tonight. We'll be doing our thing. Whoa. Hold on a second here. Okay. Yeah, we're going to call it for today. Okay. Wasn't that crazy? Can't find that. Boom. Gotta get to John Hinckley. There we go. All right, once again, thank you to our friends at Sacred Oils. Let me do a real commercial for Sacred Oils. They bailed us out. The whole reason that we're doing shows this month is because of Sacred Oils. I was going to fold it up. And we'll probably fold it up at the end of this month because, we're just not able to keep going. But if you want to thank somebody, thank Sacred Oils. Pugs 20. Just tell them when you call up to Sacred Oils. Pugs 20. Get you 20% off. Sacred Oils is located at 13740 Midway Road, Suite 522. That's 13740 Midway Road in Dallas, Texas. 469-951-3910. That's 469-951-3910. Don't forget to tell them Pugs 20. Get your 20% off. If you're thinking about trying CBDs, if you're thinking about trying the Delta 8s, if you're thinking about trying the edibles, all of that stuff, what a better place to try it than somewhere where you're going to get 20% off, right? You're going to dabble, you're going to try it, you've been thinking of dipping your toe in it. Check out the folks at Sacred Oils. Also, You can still tip the show. That would be great. Cash App, Venmo, all of that. The show relies on your good graces to continue going. See you tonight at 9 o'clock. All right. Tonight at 9 o'clock it is. You look good today. What, are you working out? Bye, everybody.
Quest.